Okay.
And I would also say under the same, just one last thing appears under the category of hypocrisy. I have read so many tweets and statements by so-called humanitarians who claim to care about food and the humanitarian situation in Gaza. They are the same people who are now saying that this humanitarian effort by Israel isn't enough and that they don't support it. I wonder why they don't support it. And I think that they don't support it because it doesn't.
On Piers Morgan Uncensored, a blistering war of words erupts between Bassem Youssef, famed satirist turned fierce Palestinian advocate, and Jonathan Conricus, ex-IDF spokesman defending Israel's tactics. The debate explodes over $30 billion in U.S. aid, accusations of genocide, and the morality of starved children caught between rockets and rhetoric. Emotions run raw, truths clash, and incredulity soars. Let's break this down.
Support the UNRWA mechanism that is in place, that keeps Hamas in place, and because it is perhaps the beginning of the end for Hamas. And a lot of people have a vested interest in Israel not defeating its enemy.
Okay, Bassem Youssef, your response.
You guys are talking about these 2 ministers as if this is the exception. I mean, like all of the Israeli cabinets have genocidal language.
This unflinching claim challenges the sanitized political narratives, exposing systemic rather than isolated cruelty embedded at the highest levels of Israeli leadership.
And Mr. Jonathan Conricus on the other side, he's like saying that they represent their constituents, which means the whole society, the whole community is genocidal. This is what they represent. And actually, like I think like we're asking the wrong question. We should be asking, like, instead of what should we do, we should start asking, why are we funding this? Why is my tax money, $30 billion to date, went to Israel to buy 2,000 pounds bombs and F-35s to dump Palestinians? Why is your tax money, Pierce, is going to the British government to finance this? If Israel wants to defend itself, let it defend itself by itself, not with my money. And also, like, this is like a country it's bragging that this lobby is buying off politicians in America. AIPAC is bragging about 80% of Congress being paid by them. If one politician in the EU, in Britain, in America was paid with bribed by Russian money, oh my God, you're going to have 6-month wall-to-war coverage, foreign interference, democracy, imperial corruption. But with Israel, crickets, complete radio silence. And I brought this, by the way, many times, and it was just like you flow over it, because this is the real question, right? Because you would spend 3 hours talking about if this is a proportionate response, but we'll not talk about 3 minutes. Why is my money, why is hurricane relief funds in America are going to fund Israel? Also, like, I don't understand the relationship between America and Israel. It's like, it's the most effed up situation ever. We're like the world's most pathetic sugar daddy. We give them billions of dollars and they shit on us. Like Mr. Jonathan said, now we're ganging on them. We're not helpful. Dude, we gave you $30 billion to bomb children and it's not enough for you. Like, I mean, at least when you pay a dominatrix, you know that you're getting fucked. But this is just America.
A shocking metaphor that pins down the perceived one-sidedness and humiliation of American taxpayers, funding devastating military strikes, a blunt indictment of blind political loyalty.
Having a public humiliation king while getting fucked, and they call this foreign policy. They are arresting American students on American soils for protesting Israeli war crimes. What the hell, man? This is like your crack whore making you beat your children for calling her what she is, a whore. The thing, this is what really boggles me in America. The right and the left, they fight each other tooth and nail over gun control, education, minorities' rights, healthcare, DEI. But when it comes to Israel, everybody competes to be Israel's favorite bitch. Republicans hate handouts unless it's for Israel. And Democrats, they love human rights unless it's for the Palestinians. I mean, this is a Delulu state. You guys are Delulu. You are Delulu. Like, I came here today to witness for myself how someone can lie so shamelessly. The guy is like a human pinball machine. Every question lies on him, ends on Hamas. Is like a magic 8-ball with one answer. Hamas. Yani, at least flat earthers, they make things interesting. You guys are boring. You are like the same thing. I left all of this. I left the media because of this. I come back. It's a freaking Groundhog Day. Every day, the same question, the same thing. Dude, nobody believes you. You are liars.
Okay.
Nobody believes it.
Okay, let me just say, well, since you haven't been on media for a while, Bassem, you probably would have noticed that I've become quite unpopular, actually, with the pro-Israeli lobby, because I've been increasingly critical of Netanyahu and his government and believe they have...
Because if you're not your doormat,
That's
if you're not
entirely accurate,
they will not do it. Yeah.
Well, okay, but, you know...
Piers, that's
all right,
not
but that's
entirely
just...
accurate.
You may have missed that. But, Jonathan Conricus, your response to what Bassem Youssef said. Dry skin, deeper wrinkles and crepiness are just a few of the visible signs of ageing. Also, I'm told. Fortunately, today's show is sponsored by OneSkin. Their topical supplements are designed to help your skin feel and behave as if it's younger, a bit like this. Founded by an all-female team of scientists, OneSkin is the first and only skin longevity company to target cellular skin aging with their proprietary OS1 peptide. It's scientifically proven to decrease lines and wrinkles, boost hydration, and help with thinning skin. More than 4,000 people have given 5-star reviews for their full line of face, body, sun, and travel-size products. OneSkin believes that skincare is not just to improve how you look, but how to optimize skin biology at a cellular level. Well, we've teamed up to give you a 15% discount with the code PIERS, P-I-E-R-S, at checkout. Just go to oneskin.co. That's co with no M, oneskin.co.
Well, you know, I could choose to respond to many things. I could respond to your foul language. I could respond to how low you speak. I could respond to your nonsense rhetoric. And basically, I think it shows that you've been out of the business for a while because you're repeating, regurgitating a lot of stuff that's really old. I think you should update your poison. You should get an updated version of the talking points against Israel. All of the things you said they're quite low level. They're not very impressive. I've heard it a million times, and it's quite childish. It's interesting for me to hear that from an Egyptian. Last time I checked, Egypt is the second largest beneficiary of American money. And if you reportedly really care about your tax money, then have you asked yourself why the US is providing so much money to Egypt and what the US gets in return? And what I would like to know is, why is the Arab Egyptian Republic refusing to receive refugees, their Arab Muslim brothers from Gaza? And why are they so inhumane and cruel and preventing poor Gazans from escaping a war zone? Last time I checked, the only war where civilians have been prevented from leaving, escaping, fleeing a battlefield is this war. I cannot remember, and maybe you as a comedian can think of another war where civilians were prevented from a neighboring non-hostile state to flee the war. I cannot remember any such thing. And I think that the country where you come from has a lot to answer from. I know that you're more confident in bashing Israel and talking conspiracy theories and AIPAC this and that and all of the other nonsense that you regurgitated. But let's talk about Egypt. Let's talk about their responsibility. Let's talk about US funds to Egypt. Let's talk about their cruelty. Let's talk about how they have prevented humanitarian access to Gaza. Let's talk about the fact that they have built the world's biggest wall that dwarfs the Chinese wall and all Israeli security walls between Gaza and Egypt. Why did they do that? Out of Muslim compassion? Out of care for humanitarian rights of their Arab brothers? No, because they want the poor Gazans in, and because they know that programs like this one and other programs will support Hamas propaganda and will blame Israel for what's happening, when in fact Gazans should have been evacuated out of Gaza in the second or third week of the war. We would have defeated Hamas quickly and with far fewer.
All right, but just to be clear, Jonathan,
casualties.
Just to be clear, programs like this one, hosted by me, which is the point you're making, I think, I'm afraid, I take exception to a 3-month policy of starvation of a populace that's been relentlessly bombarded that includes so many children. That's my problem. And I think that the war aims, the stated war aims of Israel at the start of this, which was to eliminate Hamas and to get the hostages released, neither of those things have happened. All that's happening is more and more civilians are getting killed in the process of going after the Hamas terrorists. And you've taken also, as a government, to starving already impoverished children. And I just find that unconscionable, as indeed, by the way, do two former Israeli prime ministers who've gone on record as saying that. And there was a very powerful piece by a Jewish writer, Thomas Friedman, in today's New York Times, saying Israelis, diaspora Jewry and friends of Israel everywhere need to understand that the way Israel is fighting the war in Gaza today is laying the groundwork for a fundamental recasting of how Israel and Jews will be seen the world over. And he doesn't mean in a good way. He means in a very bad and serious and potentially dangerous way. So yeah, this program has evolved.
Thomas,
it does
Thomas
stand
has
for
been
that.
campaigning.
Well, I'm going to go to Bassem for his response. But since you brought that up about this program
Piers,
and what it
leveled
represents,
10 allegations against me, and I don't get to respond.
Okay, well, I'm going to let Bassem respond, but that is my response to what you said. So Bassem.
So let's.
Well,
let's
I didn't, finish making a coherent sentence.
Well, let Bassem finish first.
Okay, by all means.
I didn't interrupt you. All right? You asked me about Egypt, I'll answer you about Egypt.
You didn't,
Egypt
and I appreciate
takes
that.
1/3 of the aid that Israel receives, while Egypt have 10 times the population. Egypt never received $30 billion to murder children and bomb hospitals. Egypt was never allowed to have the privilege of having more than 58 vetoes in the Security Council, right? And also, why doesn't Egypt take Palestinians? This is like someone going into Fifth Avenue, shooting someone in the face, and it's like, why do the neighbors don't bury the body? You're the guys doing the killing, not Egypt. So stop talking about Egypt. Anyways, and I would like to, like Jonathan and his likes, to please stop Zionizing us. Stop the Zionizing. Zionizing, it's a verb, which means to gaslight someone with such shameless, narcissistic, psychopathic audacity that you deny reality to their faces while simultaneously playing the victim.
This coinage, Zionizing, cuts to the psychological warfare beneath the conflict, accusing Israel's defenders of masterful distortion and victim manipulation, reshaping perceptions on a global scale.
Engaging in endless circle debates that go nowhere and displaying a complete loss of empathy and basic humanity. Right? Remember, Piers, why the first video went viral? Because I called Israel a narcissistic, psychopathic behavior that fucks you over and then makes you think it's your fault. Because this is what Israel does. It didn't happen. And if it did, you're remembering it wrong. And if you're not, it's your fault because you're looking into my phone. Narcissists lived in their own made-up reality. They don't share your reality. They live in their own custom-made universe where facts are negotiable and truth is whatever serves them in the moment. And when it comes back and when you corner them, they throw tantrums, accusation, Hamas, anti-Semitism, full victimhood mood. And it's pointless to debate with them, right? Because take him, for example, and the likes of him. You show them a video, it didn't happen. You show them UN reports, these are lies. You mention international law, it's complicated. You get testimonies on the ground from doctors and nurses at Hamas propaganda. We saw it with our own eyes. Your optic nerve is anti-Semitic. Like Israel is like Shaggy. We saw you won the hospital. It wasn't me. We saw you killed the children. It wasn't me. Dude, your war crimes are documented. Hamas propaganda. Also, it wasn't me.
This explosive segment exposes the rift between a defense of national security through the prism of Israeli democracy and an unyielding condemnation of systemic violence as genocidal. Bassem Youssef breaks through sanitized debate with raw accusations of hypocrisy and human suffering ignored for political expediency. Jonathan Conricus counters with claims of democratic process and humanitarian aid amid war realities. The live fire volley lays bare the impossibility of clarity when facts become weapons. Drop your take below. Who's telling the truth?